Artists United has escalated its campaign on governance and transparency at Samro, saying theft charges have been laid against the organisation's CEO and CFO relating to alleged unauthorised expenditure tied to a December 2024 book event. The group also points to the troubled July Extraordinary General Meeting, contested resolutions and a suspended whistleblower at the heart of a forensic report dispute. They will deliver a memorandum on 3 November with a national march planned ahead of the 4 December AGM. Samro has previously set out its own position. We continue to offer a right of reply. Now, in studio, Artists United's Owen Ndlovu, Mercy Bakela and Tsepo Mashiane joining me for this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming onto the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Sis Mercy, let me start with you. When you talk about these allegations, or certainly laying charges against the CEO and CFO, it obviously speaks to an area of passion for you. Just give us some background into what's led to these allegations and certainly you going to the police and laying those charges.
First and foremost, I would say the corruption in Samro has been going on for many, many years. And fortunately, there's a young girl, Mpho Mafikwe, who made sure that she alarms, the injustices that are happening at Samro against their own members, authors, producers, performers, as well as composers, are met with a lot of discrepancies, and Paul, alarmed that, and she really became very transparent and instrumental in bringing change at Samro, as a CEO, in such a way that, the CEO felt the heat and the board members felt the heat, and they ended up suspending this poor young girl that told the truth that artists deserve. So we are rallying behind Mpho today because she's suspended, for one reason, revealing corruption and injustices that is happening at Samro.
Let's talk about the specific documents or decisions that have triggered your action. I mean, what evidence is there, all right? Because at this point, there remain allegations. So let's talk about the paper trail or the paperwork that you have as you institute these charges.
Thank you very much, Hugo, and good afternoon to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika, and we thank you very much for the opportunity. This is what happened. On the 16th of May, the COO, Mpho, writes grievances to the human resource of Samro against the CEO. And this is one of the things that she was talking about. She talked about the funds being misused, the funding of a book that had nothing to do with the artists. That is what Mpho writes on 16 May. She doesn't get a reply. She follows up on the 21st of July. And she still writes the same thing to say, guys, this is a follow-up. You haven't done anything about it.
So what was Mpho's capacity at the time?
Mpho Mafikwe is a COO at Samro. She's the one that opened a case against corruption in 2023. So we stood up as members in our AGM last year, 5 December 2024, to say, what have you guys done about the case that was opened by COO? So subsequent to that, then the CEO has suspended our COO. Now, nobody's arrested. Nothing is going on. And this is the lady that stands up, like Mercy said. It's a young lady that was bold enough to say, we cannot go on business as usual when 60 million rand is taken away from the artist. Now, the chronology of events, then on the 4th of August, Mpho gets suspended by the very same CEO. But this is what is interesting. The CEO is the one that should have been suspended first because she's the one that took artist's money. The case is opened against her. And that case number is 187 October 2025. That's a case of theft. Prior to that, Hugo, there was another case, 797 June 2025. That case was for the CEO defeating the ends of justice. Guess what? 7 members of the board have resigned. She's the only one remaining. She's still there. Yet, most of these people that are resigning, they're resigning because of the things that she has influenced Samro to do. So we are saying we want the CEO to recuse herself with immediate effect because she's the only one. The chairperson of Samro has resigned. We only left with the deputy chair, and 7 board members are out. So we don't even know how she forms a quorum to be able to take any decision. So Samro, as we speak, Hugo, is on an autopilot.
Okay, so we have reached out to Samro for a right of reply. So hopefully in the next day or two, we will allow them to come onto the show and to respond to these allegations. Paul, some of the things that we've been speaking to speak to corporate governance or the lack of corporate governance. Now, you've made these allegations, made this report to the police. What is it that you are looking for beyond payback? Do you want the CEO to pay back the money? Do you expect more to be done?
Hugo, thanks very much, and thanks for the opportunity. Hugo, I think you're touching a very important issue on governance. Look, I think it's important to also give the context. Samro is founded through the non-profit company, which is governed by the Companies Act. And the Companies Act is very clear on the distinction between a private company and a non-profit company, which specifically is formed by members. Now, Samro was founded in 1962 by members, composers and publishers. Now, it is common cause that when you have such a situation, members will always be at the center of always being on the lookout on whether or not the organization is operating within the principles of good governance. Now, we have seen that the fundamental reason why we have opened cases was that the board, together with management, are going against the very principles of good governance and what is contained within the prescripts of the law. And those are the things that actually are contested here. One of the things, for an example, would be that the members took a decision to remove some of the board members that had been implicated in the Funduzi report, because the Funduzi report centrally speaks to the issues of governance. There are issues within the Funduzi report that points to the lack of governance within Samro. And those are the issues that are pertinent that we are actually contesting. But the board, together with management, are not giving us a place or a space to engage, despite the fact that we elected them to the board. And therefore, it is these types of things that continue to get us, and as you correctly say, seeming to be in a contested terrain with them. But we are not. All we're asking for is that let's have and test the ability of whether the shareholders understand what they are talking about insofar as good governance is concerned, vis-a-vis what is happening in the organization. And therefore, these cases are primarily because at the center of it, every element of good governance has been actually bended, if not broken, by the current board members and the executive.
Owen, do Artists United have a seat on the board?
Artists United, not yet. Artists United was formed, Hugo, this year because we're seeing exactly that they seem to overpower our composers. Well, Artists United represent composers, which are there in the board. We've got 3. But they're being overpowered. We said, let's amplify their voices. That's how Artists United was started. So, can you believe what is happening there, Hugo? On Thursday, we had a press conference outside Samro. The press conference was at Mary Fitzgerald Square. We are shareholders in that building, but we are disallowed to hold even meetings or a press conference. We had to pay for the venue next door to hold it. So we are calling on the members of Samro, all artists, on the 13th of November in a big march that will start at Mary Fitzgerald Square all the way to Samro to say, let's now see change in this thing. We are shareholders, but we are operating from outside. But we are starting, Hugo, on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the 4th of November, COO is appearing in a disciplinary hearing. We are saying, let's go there to amplify our voices. We can't have a COO being subjected to all this ill treatment when the CEO that is charging her has got a case of theft and she's still there. Mpo has got no case. CFO has got 2 cases, but she's still there. It's something that we've never seen before. So we are appealing to all our artists to say, let's come together and end this. Enough is enough.
Is enough.
Sis Miss, let's talk about Monday and this march. What are you expecting? What is the message that you are sending out, not just to your membership, but also to the current board and the management at Samro?
You know, we are actually going to give them a memorandum of our demands, you know, and we are saying enough is enough. Transformation in Samro or in the collecting societies has to take place. It's now or never, you know, and artists cannot die as paupers whilst there are monies that are being collected on their behalf, you know, and Mpo is supposed to be reinstated at Samro because she is the right candidate for us as composers and authors.
So are you assisting her in any way legally? How is this hearing being constituted? Because obviously you will be concerned that her voice is heard and that she does get a fair hearing.
Yeah, thanks, Hugo. I think what we have done really is to put pressure from the members' point of view. Remember that Samro, the executive and the board that has actually suspended her, they are using Samro money to do that. And this money belongs to the members who are then pushing back to say, Mpo must come back so that she can finish the job that she started, which was to institute an investigation. So we do not have, Hugo, the strength of being able to put in behind her legal support because that requires resources. But we are on the ground. I mean, Samro has got way over 400 or 200,000 members, you know, both full members, associate and ordinary members. So we are saying to members in totality who are actually in agreement, we're saying that we need to show that this organization belongs to us and no amount of money is used by Samro to actually destabilize Samro is going to change the fact that they are actually reporting to the members to whom they are collecting their monies and their royalties, Hugo. So for us now, all that we can do is to show pressure. And of course, the submission of the memorandum of demands on the 3rd of November and the march on the 13th of November is that kind of support that we can give. But it speaks as well to the extent to which Samro must change. It must understand that it operates within a member-based organization. It's not owned by a few people. It is owned by its shareholders to whom the money is collected, and the royalties supposed to be distributed. So that's the support we can offer.
All right, that's where we're going to leave that conversation. I'm going to have to thank the three of you very much for being a part of this conversation and certainly look forward to a catch-up post Monday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.